Hello， 大家好。最近 CE 官方又放出了《全面战争三国》最新的一部战役玩法聚焦视频。这次呢 ，CE 是以游戏中的公孙瓒视角，为我们讲解了在游戏战役中期，我们将面临的局面以及后续的发展线路。简单来说，就是在3分天下的局面形成之后，玩家需要最终一统天下，完成战役通关。首先，玩家使用的势力呢，需要通过征战、外交等手段积累派系名望值，以达到王侯这个派系等级。这样呢，就可以名义上称帝，也就是形成3分天下其中的一个国家。之后，游戏中的2个派系呢，也会同时称帝建国。这样玩家就需要灭掉这2个派系，最终一统天下，成为真正意义上的一代帝王。具体的统一过程呢，主要有2种方式：一是通过战斗攻下其他2个国家的都城；二是通过外交逼迫他们放弃称帝。更为具体的讲解呢，大家可以看我下面做的中文字幕视频了。
事无从军正大事，事多亏。
Hello and welcome to this gameplay spotlight of Total War 3 Kingdoms. I'm joined by narrative designer Pete to have a little look at what happens in the mid-game when the 3 kingdoms declare themselves emperor and they clash for the crown. So we're looking at about 103 turns into my campaign here. I'm playing as Gongsun Zan, and you can see that if we zoom up into the tactical map, I've taken like quite a big swathe of land here. So I'm just encroaching south of the Yellow River, taking a bit of Loyang, and we're in a huge war with Cao Cao and all of his vassals. You can see literally this entire clump of territories is all owned by either him or Yuan Shu, his coalition friend. So
all of the...
Yeah, literally pretty much all of the Central Plains and like half of the Southland as well. So it's looking pretty deadly.
Is Sun Jian his vassal?
Sun Jian is his vassal, as is Liu Bei. One thing that he does need to look out for if we go into ownership, Liu Bei actually owns all of this as well.
What's he doing over there? Wow,
well,
he's a busy boy.
He confederated Liu Biao in one of the events.
Right.
So we're kind of
just took a little bit
we're seeing a little bit of a power struggle now because he's become more powerful than his vassal master. So we might see him declare independence in the future, and maybe I could stoke those fires by offering to
kicking it off.
Offering to help. So so basically, the reason that we're looking at this part of my campaign is because if we look at our faction summary, you can see that we've almost hit the rank of king. And as soon as you declare yourself king, you're actually going to see that 3 Kingdoms period kick off. Sometimes the AI will beat you to the punch. Someone will be able to declare that for you. You'll also see if you're playing one of the governor factions that you'll actually have to wait for somebody else to declare themselves king.
Yeah, as a governor, you can't declare yourself an emperor like that.
Too loyal to the hand, so you have to take one of the seats of power after the Han has already abdicated from the throne.
Yeah, it's only polite, right?
Exactly, right? But it's Kong Rong, so yeah, what would you expect? Speaking of Kong Rong, we've been attacking his territory, and I've got Zheng Fei here, one of my generals, moving into Taishan, where we're trying to take that trade port. That's going to give us our last little surge of prestige.
Push you over the edge.
Yeah, and we're going to see that chain of events kick off. So we will skip through the cutscene just to avoid any spoilers. But if we take Taishan now, we can see that all kick off. Alright, so here we are. We have hit the rank of king. From the borders of imperial territory to the very heart of the land, you have risen from humble beginnings. As king, you may feel unchallenged, but the wind must ever blow back the encroaching ocean. Nice words, Pete.
Thanks.
So
be vigilant.
Yeah, I know, right? So we're looking at what happens now. We've actually declared ourselves king, which means that we've had a little name change. If we just zoom on up, we can see that we are now the Kingdom of Yan.
Better than the duchy.
Yeah, exactly. And we tick that off. We can see that now you have declared yourself emperor. Now it's time to prove it and lead China out of chaos. We're going to see some challenges from the throne here. So as we said, Liu Bei and it looks like Sun Jian as well, actually, both too powerful for Cao Cao to keep control of, and they've actually declared themselves emperor. So this is probably the more fitting one, because they were, of course, 2 of the 3 kingdoms.
Oh, the 2 of the 3 kingdoms, yeah.
But of course, Yan being one of our own making, and as you can expect, any of the factions that you select can make their own kingdoms. So we're going to see different power struggles come up. As we said, it's a sandbox game, so it's not always going to be Liu Bei and Sun Jian who go for the
your 3 kingdoms.
Exactly.
It's not the 3 kingdoms, yeah.
We could have had, for example, Lu Bu, who had Ma Teng as a vassal.
Ma Teng was close. I think he was very powerful.
So there's a lot of different options that you could have gone for, but in this case, with Liu Bei's huge swathe of territory and it looks like St. Jan have got pretty much all of the southeast as well. So it looks like those were the two clear choices, and Cao Cao's actually put himself in a difficult position here as well.
Yeah, that's the danger of having quite a lot of vassals, and that they have a relative amount of independence and can still sort of go around and do what they want. And if they become more powerful than you, then you're in a bit of a bind.
And it's also a quick way of declaring yourself emperor. If you've got that huge vassal, it's going to make you very untrustworthy, but you can just annex them, claim all of that territory for yourself, put that under your kingdom.
No one likes that ever.
So you can see that we've declared ourselves emperor, and we have these 3 seats of power waiting to be taken under our control. We of course start with one being our capital in Liu Beiping, but we have to seek out the other 2 capitals, and that's going to be one of the objectives that we need to complete to be able to actually finish the game.
Yeah, to win the game, you require the 3 emperor seats and to have taken, I think it's 95 counties. Either way, it's a great deal of territory, so you can really cement yourself as emperor unquestioned.
Yeah. It's basically getting yourself to a point where no one could actually oppose you. And one of the interesting things as well is that Liu Bei actually started with his capital up here in the sort of northeast, but once they hit that kingdom rank, they're actually going to consolidate back to their most powerful states.
You can move your capital, and advisable, as you can see that Liu Bei has done, to put it somewhat defensible, hidden away, so you can't just run straight to it and take it.
Exactly, and this is one of the bits of territory that Liu Biao was under control when he confederated the 2 factions. Now he's got this strong power base in the southwest, where he's actually right next to one of the other 2 kingdoms as well, so we can start maybe moving into that territory. But we've put ourselves in a difficult position now because we have quite a lot of distance to cover to try and get to those 2 capitals.
Quite a trudge, really.
Exactly. We've actually got 2 other ways of doing that with the new diplomatic option as well. So if we open up diplomacy with the Kingdom of Shuhan, we can actually force them to abdicate their emperorship, essentially. Ask that this contender yield their position and recognize your blessing by the gods under the mandate of heaven. So once we've sort of beaten them into submission, eventually we'll get to a stage where they're too weak to actually be able to put up a fight against us anymore. And we can sort of leverage that position to try and speed things along a bit.
This war has gone on long enough. Like, you're just going to keep losing, but why waste men and resources unnecessarily when you could just, give in.
Exactly, and
recognize my authority.
And one of the big ways of helping that along is by taking that seat of power. And once they sort of lose their position in the world, that sort of that rank of prestige that the other warlords saw them with, that's going to help to undermine their position and get them down. So there you go. That's the 3 kingdoms period there. In my save of the game, but of course this is a sandbox game, so we're going to see quite a few different kingdoms popping up. We are of course going to be seeing a lot of those stronger warlords like Cao Cao, like Liu Bei, who have that more, a bit more of a weighting on them, where they're more likely to pop up in the end game because they have a few events that help them along.
Yeah, and Cao Cao's, his character,
exactly,
very good at these kind of warfare, so you'll find that he'll probably be persisting quite a lot, but ultimately you can see almost anyone getting to this end game with this power base. And
we've seen on the streams how just especially when we've had to end the same turn twice, just how much things can change based on that one roll of the dice almost. So we can see that Cao Cao here elected to just vassalize everyone around him, and that hasn't actually worked out for him because
a little bit,
2 of his and his allies' vassals have now declared themselves emperor. So
he's in a bit of a tricky spot, and I would be surprised if Cao Cao lasts much longer because you're bearing down on him.
Exactly.
And he's got Swenjian behind him and Liu Bei to the west, so might be curtains for Cao Cao.
Yeah, so there you go. So, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Keep your eyes and ears open for more 3 Kingdoms content coming very, very soon. We'll be back with the streams this week, I believe, as well. So, come and join us on twitch.tv/TotalWar to watch all of those, or if you miss any, all of the VODs will be available on the Total War Live YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.